Okay, good afternoon. I'll give you the injury update here, and then we'll get into your questions. So the following players will not practice today. Joey Bosa, James Cook, A.J. Epinesa, Taron Johnson, Daquan Jones, Shaq Thompson, and Joshua Palmer and Terrell Bernard will be both limited.
What's James dealing with?
Sorry?
What's James?
An ankle. Yeah, ankle, foot, something like that. Yeah. Go through that list. Yeah, so those that will not practice, Joey Bosa, James Cook, A.J. Epinesa, Taron Johnson, Daquan Jones, and Shaq Thompson. And then the last two were Terrell Bernard and Joshua Palmer will be limited today.
What's the Bosa deal with Sean?
He has a wrist going on. Yeah.
Are any of those veteran
Sorry?
Are any of those veteran rest?
No, no.
What are your thoughts on Daquan? What is his chances moving forward here this week?
Yeah, we'll see. It's one day at a time. He did some work with the training staff yesterday and the day before, so today is a kind of a rest day for him, even though it's not veteran rest. But rest day in terms of his rehab schedule here. So.
Sean, what did you like about Javon Solomon's approach throughout this season, kind of staying ready, being ready, and obviously playing a big role this past weekend?
Yeah, Solly's taken a step in year two. He continues to embrace that growth mindset, and no role is too small. He'll play special teams, any role in special teams. He comes in and does things for us on defense over the course of 8 games now. So just really appreciate his mindset, his attitude, and what he's able to bring and his potential growth moving forward for us.
Did that James injury pop up during the game, or was he got some treatment on his lower body? Looks like during the game was that?
Yeah, a little bit. Came up during the game. Just sore in the last couple of days after the game there. Yep.
Hey, Sean, I know Brandon was going to speak to us after, but just your thoughts on staying pat, and do you feel like your roster, despite some clearly injury areas that are problems for you, are you good to go here?
I believe in Brandon. Listen, I believe in his staff. And as a coach and a coaching staff, you're always looking for those quality players that you feel like can exponentially increase your odds of winning. I think any coach or coaching staff would say that. Sometimes deals work and sometimes they don't. Sometimes it comes to fruition and sometimes it doesn't. It's a high demand time of year with the window that just passed. So I love our team. I believe we can win, and the reason is we've got guys who are buying into playing as a team, playing for one another. We've got a culture that's ripe and a coaching staff that knows how to develop players. Do we have some holes due to some injuries? We do, and it's frustrating. But that's also where young guys have to step up. So that's how I see it.
Sean, what have you made of what Dalton Kincaid's done recently, and even with a lower snap count, just kind of taking advantage of those opportunities?
Yeah, he was on point the other night. Not surprised by it, and he continues to grow every week. His role in our team, his role in our offense, him growing as a player overall in the run and pass game, and I've been very happy with his growth to this point in the season.
Hey, Sean, Joe said the other day, too, that he has to start realizing he needs to get Dalton in there more. Would you agree with that? That he needs to find ways to get him on, even though your tight ends are playing really well?
Yeah.
Does he need to get him on the field more?
Well, anybody that's catching the ball and doing good things with it, that's a good revelation, good thought by Joe. So, no, it's just where, after a game and you're saying, hey, what worked for us, it's kind of like, yeah, maybe we should have got that player even more touches. But as you know, the games are like they're one at a time. And so sometimes this guy's hot this game, and the next game the ball finds this player over here more times than the other player the week before. So I like Joe's thought. Overall, I just feel like we just got to continue to play good offense, and the ball will find the right person at the right time.
Sean, how do you feel like Jordan Boyer's presence has helped Cole Bishop, and then the way those two are working together right now?
Yeah, Jordan has been instrumental in a lot of players, a lot of young players' development. Cole being one of them, Jordan Hancock another. So, it's, I could talk forever about Jordan Poyer, so I won't do that. Won't bore you guys, but his impact goes well beyond the playing field.
How impressed have you been with what he and Jordan Phillips have done strictly on the playing field?
Jordan Poyer and Jordan Phillips?
Yes.
Yeah. It's really kind of surreal to watch because they've been around for a number of years, and neither of them are as young as they used to be, myself included, or they want to be. And yet what they've brought to our team from an attitude, leadership, energy standpoint, and just an overall of, hey, here's how things work here, has been felt and in a very impactful way.
So what are your expectations you'd like to see from Keon Cole in terms of his development the rest of the way?
Continue to grow. This past week he took a step in terms of playing in a two-dimensional type of approach with, making some catches in the pass game, making some key blocks for us. And when you're trying to move the ball, it takes all 11. And his role from play to play may change. Obviously, like I said, making a catch. And then next thing is laying a key block for us in the run game or the pass game. So it's, again, similar to Javon, the question I was asked about Javon, no job too small, no job too big. That's how you embrace team football. And again, that's, for us, and this is what I said earlier about how we win. You win as a team. And when you play as a team, the game gets a lot easier. And, our guys are buying into that, playing for one another, loving one another, not wanting to let each other down. And that 1/11th approach, in this case with Keon, is moving in the right direction with more to go.
Sean, when you go back to the New England game, you said after the game we played the game they wanted us to play. I know there was another loss after that. Do you feel that the last 2 weeks your team is playing the kind of game you want to play?
Yes. Yeah, we're moving in the right direction, Sal. We are. And I applaud the staff and the coaches for it. They've done a really good job. Players have, recalibrated a little bit and done everything that we've asked them to do. And it just takes some time to sometimes get there. And now we got to continue to go because we're not where we need to be. This is a big divisional game down there away. And so we've got to put a good week of preparation in. So.
Sean, do you think Gabe Davis is relatively close to being able to play? I know he's practicing.
Yeah.
He talked to him last week. He's like, I'll play whenever I need to. Is there a timeline or a general idea of when he could be ready to actually play as opposed to practice?
I don't have an exact number for you. I feel like he's getting close. Last week we gave him, I think I mentioned to you guys later in the week, we gave him, I believe it was Friday off because he had Wednesday, Thursday back-to-back. And again, you just got to keep in mind he hasn't done a lot. He hasn't had a build-up really, so I'm just trying to be smart. But when he was out there, I thought he did well.
Sean, we know the season can be a roller coaster ride. You always talk about staying level. I know the veterans understand that, but how do you instill that in some of these younger players that have such a big role?
There's two things, one of which is the veteran leadership that we have and them, feeding into these young guys and trying to educate them on how this works. And you're not alone. What you're feeling is most guys feel that same way. Because the other part of it is a long season, to your point, and a lot of these young guys are already playing. And it sounds good and they like playing, don't get me wrong, but it is a grind. And there's going to be, like there was in the game the other night, there was some really high highs and there was some really things that we need to adjust. And that can be hard, but they just got to stay with it, and we stay together as a team. I keep saying that, but that's huge for us.
Sean, in what area do you need to see Landon Jackson grow in order to earn a jersey on game day? Because right now you're thin across that.
Right. Yeah. Another player that I mentioned with the injury situation, some of the holes that he needs to step up, and he knows that. Landon's been very conscientious. He's worked extremely hard every week, and I mentioned this after the game to you guys. The hardest part of not playing week to week in the NFL is the team moves, and you got to make sure that you're moving with it. Because when you play and the team plays, there's development, you kind of get into a rhythm. And so the players that aren't playing have to find the best way to move with the team as the team moves. So we'll see where that goes this week for Landon, but I know he's been working hard behind the scenes.
John, what have you thought of Max Harrison in the two games you've seen him? Have you been pleased with how, after missing all that time, he seems to have fit, right in pretty quickly here?
Yeah, he's off to a good start. He would tell you that there's certain plays he wants back, of course, and it's just how can you continue on your routine even though there's noise, and that's one of the hardest things to do. It was asked earlier about young players, and there's so much noise due to exposure and everything these days that you've got to be able to really navigate that and block out all that noise and get right back into your routine that got you the results that you had a week ago or 2 weeks ago, what have you. So you got to stay very disciplined.
Sean, you talked about your defense has embraced the nastier attitude these last few weeks. Is that something that the offense can feed off, and something that the offense can also embrace that attitude that you've talked about?
Yeah, I feel like both sides have fed off of each other in that way already. So it's a whole team thing. Special teams, you see those guys out there, they're getting after it, and I love nastiness. I love physicality. That's how we play here in Buffalo. So if you want to be good, you got to bring that to the table in all three phases.
Sean, you said a division game and it's Miami, but as a team in some transition, they made some trades, or the GM, all that kind of stuff. Is that the kind of thing you need to address at all with your team, or is that the veterans know this in terms of, obviously you respect opponents, but it's been a little bit different than what we're used to seeing out of the Dolphins?
Yeah, we can't control any of that. Logical question, Mike, but at the end of the day, we've got to get ourselves ready to go, and our level of play, as I've said before, is what matters most. And what impacts that the most is how we prepare during the week and how we handle ourselves. And if we're worried about that, then we're not going to be able to play to the level we need to play to win the game. Very competitive team, and we have a ton of respect for their game, so we've got to get ourselves ready to go.
Okay.
Very good, thank you.
Thanks, Sean.